Welcome to the Bariatric Nutrition Coach podcast, where we empower you with weight loss surgery, nutrition knowledge, mindset advice, and inspiration so you succeed in your weight and health journey. I'm your host, Jane Stoltz, and I am a bariatric dietitian who has helped over 1,300 people on their weight loss surgery journeys. I'm also a solo mum, lover of long walks while listening to podcasts, partial to a glass of wine, and the ocean is my happy place. Join me as I dive deep into bariatric nutrition and lifestyle topics and deliver them to you in bite-sized, palatable episodes every Monday. Now let's go. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Bariatric Nutrition Coach podcast. And I want to talk to you this week about the topic of weight regain. And it's a topic that I have talked a lot about at my podcast, at Instagram, and I work with clients on managing the weight regain and feeling really confident about their bariatric journey and that confident that they can keep all of the wonderful benefits that they've gained from their weight loss surgery. And I think the term we want to really focus on is confidence. We want to focus on confidence. And the other word that I want to focus on before we get into this topic of weight regain is compassion. And I talk about having compassion, self-compassion a lot because most people enter their weight loss surgery journey. They have dieted for many years. And the dieting world and dieting mindset is not about self-compassion. It's about good, bad, right, wrong, all of that. And I know in your bariatric journey, if you started to regain some weight, it can be very scary. And the first place you go is not to be in a self-compassionate space. People could be quite hard on themselves and having a lot of negative thoughts and enter a real negative mindset. So let's keep compassion at the forefront as we delve into the topic of weight regain. And I'm going to go through and step you through some questions to ask to come out at the other end, a great place for you to start focusing to turn that weight regain around. So we are going to go through 5 questions in this podcast. I couldn't remember if there's 5 or 6. 5 questions that I'm going to be stepping for you to ask yourself to come out at the end with a really clear place to focus, clear actions to take to turn around your weight regain. Because the really common feeling that people say, well, there's several common feelings people have when they start regaining weight. Fear, people say they're scared, they feel out of control. And that comes from not knowing, how am I going to stop this? Feeling out of control is a really uncomfortable feeling. So as we go through this podcast, well, first I encourage you to grab a pen and paper, and you can stop this podcast now, grab a pen and paper, and between each question, you can stop the podcast and just write some notes. You might want to do it in your phone, you might want to do it on pen and paper, just kind of answer the question and reflect on each question. Because when we don't feel comfortable, what's that natural reaction? The natural reaction is, let's just pounce in, do something, change something, take away this uncomfortable feeling. We're going to take a more focused, reflective approach to come out with what's really going to be the most impactful for you, okay, with weight regain. I also really want to talk a little bit about how weight regain is 1, very normal after bariatric surgery, and 2, it's very easy. And say, oh, yeah, well, Jane, I know it's easy. I know it's easy to gain weight. I gained weight before surgery. But it's even easier to regain weight after surgery because when you have your bariatric surgery, your metabolic rate drops down as a response from your significant weight loss. So you don't need as many calories, as much energy each day to be weight maintaining. So as you move further from your surgery, a little bit here and a little bit there, a little few more calories here, a little bit of another snack there, it doesn't take much to really, over time, whether it's quick or whether it's more of a slow regain for that to occur. So that's why we want to have a self-compassionate approach as we go through these questions. We don't want to berate ourselves. We don't want to beat ourselves up. We want to say, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm human. I'm not perfect, and you're not perfect. And isn't it good perfection's not needed? Because no, to be successful, nobody would be successful because nobody is perfect. Perfection is not possible and it is not needed. And the dieting world has that kind of perfection mentality, but it's just not real. Great. So now let's go through these 5 questions that I want you to ask yourself one at a time. And as I said before, you can stop the podcast after each question and you can just write that question down. Or you might not even have to do that, just and kind of reflect and write your answer. And we're going to step through this together. So let's talk about the first question. Question number 1, how long has your regain been going on for? So this could be an uncomfortable question if it's been going on for some time and you're needing to write down that you've been kind of ignoring it. Or it might just have started. But how long has it been going on for? So it's about just being really honest. Okay, I think it's been going on the last 3 months. I put on a certain amount of pounds, kilograms, and that this is where I'm at. Okay, so that's question number 1. How long has your weight kind of been in that space of weight regain? Now, I want to say here, and I just want to do a specific note here. You might be listening to this in your weight loss phase. So you may be still in that weight loss phase after that, and it can be in that first 2 years after your weight loss surgery, and your weight's been going down, down, down. And then you get to a point and you get to your lowest point, and you never know where your lowest weight is until you put on a little bit. And it's very normal and it's expected that you'll never stay at your lowest weight. You get to your lowest weight, it comes up a bit. It's different for different people. I can't say, it's going to be 5 pounds or it's going to be 3 kilograms or whatever it's going to be. But it comes up a bit around and then you plateau and then you level off and you're in that weight maintenance. Then if you're in weight maintenance, in that space, your weight is going to bob up and down. That's really normal. So if you do track your weight, you may not have been tracking your weight, but if you do, or you may have some in your clothes giving you feedback, there's a normal bobbing up and down. What I'm talking about with weight regain is when it keeps on going, if that makes sense. So you've left that kind of rhythm of weight loss going up and down, which is really normal. So that's just a little bit more information about answering this question. Question number 2. What have you been saying to yourself? You might ask this in a different way. You could say, what have I been saying to myself about my regain? So what have you been saying to yourself? What's been in the back of your mind? What's that little voice in your head been saying to yourself about your weight regain? It'll go away. It's not happening. I know I'm doing something wrong, but I don't know what I'm doing. I know I should be doing something, but I'm too busy this week. I knew I'd gain my weight back because I've never been successful at keeping my weight off. I don't deserve to be healthy. That's for other people. I've got a sister that's at a good weight and I knew I'd never be able to be as kind of thin and healthy as her. Whatever it is, this is going to be really uncomfortable, but it's really good to identify the things you may be saying to yourself that can be holding you back, because really they are self-sabotages. They are thoughts that are stopping you from doing something, from really kind of moving into a space of action. And that's what we want to be aware of and overcome. So that's question 2. Now I've got 2 other, we've got question 3 and question 4, and they're kind of the opposite, but it'll become clear what I mean in a minute. But we're going to do first question 3, obviously. So this is the question, or explain the question from question 1. So you might say, for example, okay, I've been regaining for about 3 months. I want you to sit and reflect. In this period of weight regain, what have you started doing that you weren't doing before? So is it certain food choices? Have you started eating more after dinner? Have you started skipping breakfast? Have you started not getting to the gym as often? Have you started getting an extra latte in the morning, coffee? Have you started eating a few more biscuits from the work, a coffee tea room than what you weren't doing before? What have you started doing in this period of when weight regain has been around? So what have you started doing? And then question 4 is the opposite in the sense of what in the same period of this when weight regain has been happening, what have you stopped doing? So we have start behaviors, there's those, and then there's things you've stopped doing. I've stopped having breakfast. I've stopped moving my body. I've stopped tracking my protein. I've stopped meeting a friend on a Sunday morning for a walk. I've stopped using protein in my coffee. Could be a range of things. So we're talking food choices. We're also talking when you eat and when you don't eat, activity, eating behaviors. I've stopped timing my bites of food. I can see that I'm eating a bit more. So these two lists are really powerful, okay? So there's no right or wrong where answers lie, okay? What I mean by that is you could have started skipping breakfast, but all the breakfast, I've stopped having breakfast could be on the stop list. That's okay. These questions are just really simple to bring out things that you've started, stopped, and essentially changes in eating habits and food choices and lifestyle habits. So it doesn't matter where some of you, if your answers lies on a stop or a start list, if that makes sense. But it can be really great to say, okay, what is different? And that's why I love, especially when my clients, because I teach my clients to do pen on paper tracking, not forever, but it's a great thing to do and be able to estimate your protein, pen on paper, but also you can keep those records and we can write activity on there. We can write fluid. You can write when you have multivitamins. And on one page, you can see a lot of detail, a lot of great information. If you keep those, or if you're going through a period of weight regain, you can go and get some of those out. 4 or 5 months ago when I was feeling, yeah, okay, everything was going really well. I felt like I was in a good space. When was I doing activity? When was I eating? Okay, that can help sometimes pinpoint what's changed because our memories don't serve us. I say that all the time. Our memory does not serve us. We cannot remember especially when there are small changes over time, what we're accurately doing 5 months ago. I can't remember what I was accurately doing 5 days ago, so let alone 5 months ago. So beautiful, beautiful. So that is question 3 and question 4. What have you started doing or what have you stopped doing? So this leads us to the final question. And I'm going to go through this and then I'll give some examples. So this question is from question 3 and question 4. So from those lists, and you might even have start and stop list. And you might even bring, especially if you scribbled some answers out, you might get another piece of paper and just make a start list and stop list with a few words for each, because you'll know what they mean. And I want you to review this question or this step is actually reviewing that start and stop list and circling the 2 easiest things that you can focus on over the next month. The 2 easiest changes, additions, things you can need to stop or start, the 2 easiest ones that you can focus on over the next month. We're not talking about, let's do it for a couple of days and then let's look at the next thing. We are going, okay, let me readjust to back to where I was in these 2 areas where everything was working in the past. And let's come back to that and let's really embed that back into our lifestyle and our food choices and our eating habits. And let me give myself a month. You can even write down some notes on what you're going to do. I love putting things in your diary. I love putting reminders. And, it might just be coming back and doing some pen on paper tracking with those 2 things written at the top that remind you to do those things. So this is really powerful. The reason why I've chosen the 2 easiest is that when we have small wins, it helps us build up that momentum and motivation and confidence to then move on to the next thing. Okay. So the two easiest, writing them up the top, maybe doing some tracking, and then maybe in 3 weeks' time, putting in your calendar and your diary, review stop start list, see how I'm going and what I'm doing currently, choose the next thing. We're going to work on another one, the next one, or the next two things that are one step up with effort and less easy, if that makes sense. So two easiest things, it could be, look, I have stopped walking with a friend and because they went away and now they're back, I'm going to get back into that. Okay. I'm going to contact them. I'm going to text them, call them. We're going to get back into that. We're going to get that happening again. Great. Another one might be, oh, I was having a high protein shake for breakfast and it was working really well, but I just got out of the habit. Kids are back at school, or I got out of the habit over the holidays because I didn't need to run out the door in the morning with the kids, getting them to school. And I got out of that habit and I was just end up not having anything for breakfast. And my protein intakes have gone down. I'm going to go back to having that shake, no matter if I am needing to run out the door or if I'm not needing to run out the door. They might be two examples. So I hope that paints a picture of some really kind of simple questions, uncomfortable questions, yes, but simple questions to ask yourself to come out with two simple, fairly simple things to start with. We don't start with the hardest, okay? That is in a way setting ourselves up for failure because we want to get some early wins, get some quick wins, and get back into that zone and first stop and then turn around that weight regain.
Now tell me, is this you? You have had your bariatric surgery and you're feeling lost, you're lacking support and you don't know what to eat and when. Or you may have noticed after your surgery, your hunger and cravings have started to return and you are scared you won't reach your goals. You may have had some weight regain and you want to stop the weight regain and lose some more weight. You may be pre-surgery and you want support to be fully prepared for your weight loss surgery journey. If any of these sound like you, then listen up. I have developed my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp just for you. My coaching program provides education, coaching and community for people getting ready for their weight loss surgery and at every stage after their surgery. There are 4 key areas that I focus on with my clients in my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp. One is the bariatric nutrition basics. You will learn what and how to eat so you feel satisfied, reach your protein and fluid goals, and have less cravings, and know how to manage your hunger in the future. Meal ideas and meal planning. You'll learn to plan meals and snacks that you like, so you have great options on hand when it comes time to eat. Also, we focus on mastering weight regain habits, identifying any habits that are stopping you from reaching your goals and create manageable strategies to get back on the straight and narrow so you can manage your weight for the rest of your life. And also, I focus with my clients in my Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp on learning to trust your body and food. Start to enjoy your food again by relearning to listen to your body cues so you have less guilt and improve your relationship with food and your body. If you are ready to maximize your weight loss surgery results, feel confident in your journey, and be led with support and expert guidance, then the Bariatric Nutrition Bootcamp is for you. If you would like to know more about my coaching program, check out the link in the show notes.
So let me just summarize those questions just to wrap everything up together at this point. Question 1, how long has your weight regain been happening? Question number 2, what have you been saying to yourself about it in the back of your mind? What are those thoughts and things you've been saying to yourself? Number 3, what have you started doing in this weight regain period? What are things you've started doing? And question 4 of what are the things that you've stopped doing? So from that, you can get your start and stop list. And question 5 is looking at those lists and choosing the two easiest actions to behaviours or food choices or lifestyle changes to tackle. Okay, so that's questions 1 to 5. So thank you so much for listening to my podcast today or watching it. I am committed to doing more of my podcasts on video. And if you like watching podcasts on video, my podcast videos are going to be in my YouTube channel. So they are going to be put over there, but you may just want to listen to the audio, which is fine. And that's what I love doing when I'm walking. And that's in Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, I think other places. So if you enjoyed this podcast, I would love you to share it in your social media. I'd love you to suggest it to a friend. And I just want to let you know about a new addition to my show notes. And I have put a new link in my show notes, and it's called Ask Jane. So you can click on that link, and it's a really simple little form. You put your first name in, and you can put in any question or any topic that you want me to cover in a future episode, because I want to give you the content that you need and that you're really interested in. So please use that link, Ask Jane, put any question or comments or any comment there, any topic that you would like covered, and then I'll be able to cover that in a future episode. So thank you so much for your ears and eyes today. If you're watching, I really appreciate your support, and I really look forward to being back with you next week. Bye for now.